Oh man, that time is now here. Frank Warren says he ain't talked to nobody about making a fight with his fighter, Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to my channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, the Cash App, and the Patreon family. We working. Head over to the Patreon. We are moving some stuff over there. Got some content for the YouTube channel members and the Patreon family. So some shifts. It should be fun. We're gonna get it cracking. And the link is in the description for the Patreon. To join on YouTube and become a channel member, just hit the join button right next to the subscribe button, and also hit the subscribe button while you're at it. Another great way to support the channel is to click the link and go to the ESPN Plus and sign up for the ESPN Plus bundle. That includes ESPN Plus, Hulu, and Disney Plus, all three apps, one price, $12.99 a month. And there's a ton of content. Disney owns a lot. They own a lot of original series and shows and classic shows, TV shows, animated. Obviously, the Disney Vault is different from when I was a kid. You know, they used to, movies, you could only get them for a limited time on VHS and stuff, and then they would go away. But now they have the Disney Plus app, along with ESPN Plus and Hulu. It's crazy, $12.99 a month. Now, Frank Warren, let's get into his quote. Man, this new media stuff is crazy. What I tell y'all is crazy. See, I did this video. Some of you guys checked it out already, but I dropped this video. It says, who cares? De La Hoya and DAZN have Canelo versus Golovkin 3. Desperate push. I did this video, and then I did another one where I was talking about the Frank Warren situation with Deontay Wilder. But I filmed those two, you know, back to back basically. And I was asking you guys, here it is. I was asking you guys if you felt that it was cap. Look, it says cap or nah. Fury versus Joshua happening next. Camps negotiating, but where's Wilder? Right? So I was asking you guys and stating my opinion to see if it was cap. Now we know that it is cap. And Frank Warren has done interviews, and he's basically said, let's jump into his quote. I keep reading all this stuff. The bottom line is this. It's very simple. Both Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury are contracted for their third fight. That's a fact. That's where we are at the moment. There's been offers made from various countries and organizations to host a fight between Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. One of these countries we signed an NDA with, which I can't go into. When I say me, I mean myself, MTK, on the behalf of Top Rank, and I know Matchroom signed an NDA as well. That's where we are. Nothing is in writing. Nothing has been offered at the moment, except for one country that's made an offer, which we're considering. As regarding anything concrete, nothing at all. Behind the scenes, there are offers being prepared and offer being made. It'll be up to all the parties to consider. Everyone has to agree. If it was to go straight to the Joshua fight, Matchroom, the two fighters, Queensberry Promotions, Top Rank, and MTK would all have to agree. I speak to Wilder's manager, Shelly Finkel, every other day. He's a great friend. We haven't had the conversation yet about Wilder stepping aside. It's not a conversation that has even been had yet. It's all about when and when we can put any of these fights on. We don't know yet, but we're all on the same page. There's no backdooring or driving wedges. We're all as one dealing with this. To get this over the line, if we're going to do it, we all have to agree. Everyone has to agree, most importantly, the fighters. End quote. So basically everything that I said in this video was true. And this was before he came out and said that. So basically, to me, to be honest, this just sounds, ESPN, they're the ones that start, they're the first one that says sources. Hold on, let me pause this. Sources, talks underway for possible Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua unification fight. And, you know, people are going crazy in the boxing world with this whole sources and, you know, kind of dropping these tidbits that are really not a reflection of a reality, you know? Like, yeah, talks are underway. So basically, a country has money and they offered you something, but your fighters aren't on the same page. You haven't figured out what's going on with Kubrat Pulev. You haven't convinced Wilder or talked to Wilder's team and told Wilder's team about it, and they haven't agreed to it. And he just told you. He says factually, I keep reading all this stuff. The bottom line is very simple. Wilder, Tyson Fury are contracted for a third fight. That's a fact. So it has to get past so many parameters before it becomes a reality. I just don't see it being a reality next and this year. Like I said in my video, on top of everything else, you're dealing with a global pandemic. Bob Arum, who's part, you know, in a partnership with Tyson Fury, right? Bob Arum literally has like moaned and said that certain fights can't be made, like Teofimo Lopez versus Vasyl Lomachenko cannot be made because they need a crowd. He says it's good that Sean Porter and Terrence Crawford are possibly opening to fight each other, but they can't fight without a crowd. So let me get this straight. If Bob Arum is saying that those fights, that there is no long ingrained history, meaning they haven't fought each other. There's been at best social media back and forth, right? But they don't have a history of being in the ring and, you know, previous fights together, right? You mean to tell me a trilogy fight with Wilder and Fury will get pushed off and a Joshua versus Tyson Fury fight could happen this year despite not knowing when live sports are even coming back? It doesn't sound believable. It doesn't sound believable. You have too many people. I gotta get off this duck face picture. Anyway, you have too many people and too many things to consider where I just don't see it being likely. We only have, you know, we're almost halfway through the year in a couple months. You would have to convince Wilder that Wilder feels in his mind everything that could go wrong went wrong, and it went wrong, he lost, and he wants revenge. It's hard to tell a fighter otherwise. It's hard to tell a fighter, no, don't do that. It don't matter if fans think he's gonna get blown out the water. He's a fighter. That's the heart of a fighter. A lot of fans say that stuff because you're not the fighter, because you don't have heart like a fighter. So you would quit. You would like, oh, you got whooped. You know, you wouldn't go back for seconds. You see what I'm saying? Or thirds or whatever, right? So I don't care about what the fans are telling Wilder to do. Wilder in his heart has expressed the notion that he's triggering the rematch clause. So that's one major hurdle. Plus you have his network and networks that he's tied to. There's too many people involved. You would have to do some heavy lifting and some serious negotiating and serious moving. The best case scenario is if Wilder was content just getting some money and bowed out gracefully and says, I'll let these two fight. But I don't think that would make him look great. And I don't see him doing that. You know, I think he wants revenge. I think he feels, in his mind at least, he said he was a zombie, this, that, whoop. So in his mind, he believes that he could beat Fury, and, you know, he just had a blunderous night. So this, like I said, this is cap. And there's a lot of like boxing reporting and sources and stuff. And it's all premature stuff. This is why boxing doesn't get the mainstream treatment like some of the NBA and NFL and stuff. Like if they say Tom Brady is going to the Buccaneers and like it's supposed to be a go-to source that covers football all the time, then guess what? That's what usually happens. Tom Brady's going to the Buccaneers. And if they say that Gronk is going to join Brady on the Buccaneers, then guess what? That's what happens. But in boxing, it's really like I always say it's like the Wild Wild West. It doesn't work that way. You got people, and I'm not bashing because I came up on YouTube. I came up on the internet and in the digital space, but you got people who are doing YouTube videos and, lying and making stuff up and acting like they're in the know and they don't really know. You see what I'm saying? And announcing stuff that they read that's not true and, trying to clickbait and stuff like that. But then you also have even just regular outlets, boxing outlets, and they repeat every little waking rumor that they get as well, that they hear as well. You see what I'm saying? So in the end, it looks crazy because the boxing is supposed to be insider said this, that, and the third. Hey, guess what? This fight is happening. This fight, and then fans get excited, and then they got excited for no reason. I'm not getting excited for Joshua versus Fury. You gonna have to show me a press conference. Show me how you gonna get past all these obstacles. Kubrat Pulev, Deontay Wilder, a pandemic, and not knowing when a live crowd can come back. Listen, I understand Saudi Arabia has money, but Bob Arum just said, he says a lot of those oil tycoons and stuff, he said they're practically having to give away gas for the low right now because we're in a pandemic and people aren't driving. So he said the value of gas is like extremely low right now because people are quarantined in the house. So are they really going to generate or give such a sight fee for no crowd, just to make that fight, just to have it on their soil in the middle of a pandemic? That's one particular, these are all literally all the things that I was saying in the video. And now we have confirmation why. Frank Warren told you what's up. He says we haven't had no serious dialogue. We had an NDA. I can't go into, exactly what the offer is and these types of things. But bro, since I've been in boxing, I've heard of 1,000 fights that may happen in the Middle East in different places. Oh, Pacquiao and Amir Khan in Dubai, and Amir Khan and Floyd in Dubai, and all these different fights, and Eddie Hearn, the master of clout chasing, and DAZN, master of clout chasing. They've said a bunch of stuff that they want in Saudi Arabia that would be great, but literally how many of those have happened? Pacquiao fought Lucas Matisse. He fought him in Malaysia. You had Amir Khan versus, I think, Billy Dib, late replacement. That was in somewhere in Pakistan or somewhere around there. You had Joshua Ruiz, which didn't live up to expectations. That was in Saudi Arabia, Riyadh. I just can't think of many fights that actually the trigger was pulled and they did happen. Now you're also having to do this on the heels of of a pandemic, and you have to excite the customer, and not even just that, people's money might be tight. You got to really look at this whole thing. Wilder Fury, that's a great fight. Joshua Fury, that's a great fight. But Joshua Fury, they don't have the same history. Joshua didn't even look good in his last fight, in my opinion. He didn't really even look good in his last fight. That's my honest opinion. So his stock is not the highest, and he doesn't have that same history with Tyson Fury. I mean, he has some history, but it's really just Twitter fingers, back and forth social media stuff, that type of thing. And you got to convince people to come out the pocket for whatever. And see, the other thing that's kind of weird is, why would you have a fight with two British fighters and you take it to Saudi Arabia? You know what I'm saying? Why not happen at Wembley or something like that? So I don't know. You don't. The one thing I can guarantee is, I know the UK fans are great and a lot of them travel, but not every single person is going to be able to travel that would have traveled if it was in London, Manchester or somewhere, right? O2 Arena. I know that's probably not big enough, but you get what I'm saying. Wembley, London, right? So you're going to miss out some of that. So it doesn't sound likely. Again, Wilder and Kubrat Pulev are probably some of the bigger obstacles that this fight is facing, but the good news is Tyson Fury feels he could beat Wilder again, and he says he's not retiring in a couple of fights. He's going to fight till he's 40. So, there's still time. And I feel no remorse or anything. Like people saying, oh, Wilder got beat, he got beat bad and soundly, so he needs to just politely bow out and let these two fight. Man, bump that. Because Joshua, when he got beat badly by Andy Ruiz and virtually quit, people told him not to take the immediate rematch, and he did it, and he got his belts back. So fair play to Joshua. So why would Wilder, if he wants to try to get a guy he's knocked out unconscious, and try to get his belt back from him, who beat him bad in the last fight, then why would he be robbed of the opportunity? None of it makes sense. Holla at me when it's real. You know, it's just too much weirdo stuff going on in boxing. Like, I know we're in a pandemic, and I know, you know, people are trying to get clicks to the sites and stuff like that, but it's just looking bad. And this is why boxing, it just is bad when all the information that you hear is not really reliable. Like, you know, you have, it's like tongue in cheek almost. Like, you have this sensationalized, that's a great word for it. You have all these sensationalized titles to make it look like, oh, Joshua and Fury is gonna happen. And then boxing fans, as always, are always led off a cliff and, you know, led to the realm of disappointment because it's not what they made it out to be. You see what I'm saying? That's what I see. You know, it just leads to disappointment. Leads to disappointment because there's a lot of people that probably do want to see Fury versus Joshua, right? It's an undisputed fight, two champions, etc. from the same stomping ground. We never really got that where it's two British guys in the heavyweight division. But that's not how the chips fall all the time. But it doesn't make sense to over glorify something and sensationalize the title to make it look like there's some deep talks being had. And then Frank Warren says a couple days, no, Wilder's contracted to fight Fury, and we haven't have nothing written down. We just had an NDA. There was like a, you know, that's basically, that's a prelim offer. It's basically like the first offer with nothing negotiating, no actual substance or sustenance behind it. That's it's just overkill. It's overkill to make it look like it's a thing. And that's not just the websites that are talking about it. It's also on YouTube. You see people, you know, they take it, and this is why my sport, it always looks crazy because, again, people get led astray. And you see all these titles, oh, Joshua Fury next. And you're like, oh, okay, what? And then you click on it, and it's not really nothing. It's not really about nothing. So hopefully boxing can fix that. That's my take on it. Like I told you, this was cap. I'll believe it when they have a press conference with Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua next. That's all I said in my first video. I do not see them fighting next for undisputed with all the belts and getting past all the obstacles needed to make that a thing off of the heels of this pandemic. And I stand by that firmly. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Don't forget to smash the like. If you're new, consider subscribing. I drop daily content. I go live. You know, we have a good time over here. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off. And check out the new videos. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.